This is the absolute symbol of America's decline. Yeah, because people have been talking about whether the U.S. has declined or not. You would have, both voices, strong voices, on this argument. But you see, a confident, a strong global power should be, predictable, should be generous to other countries. Should have the example of leadership, and he's not in any of these categories. So then, whether he's really an aberration or looks like the future. Joe Biden used to describe him as an aberration of history, but it looks like Joe Biden is an aberration of history. But if this is the United States tomorrow, then we're really going to have a very dangerous United States. And that, of course, would invite another question. What will a stronger China do? To meet other people's expectation. Because about all things we have to talk about this world, I think there is already one consensus. That is, this is a post-American order area in which the world is moving.
Do you think America is acting against the time, against the aspirations of a great majority of countries and peoples in the world by taking such a step?
I think so, because sometimes I thought the United States has been strong for so long. So sometimes it could happen that it forgot common sense. That is, countries rise and fall. So the United States believe it is a city upon the hill, that it is so indispensable, so on and so forth. But with all the things coming up from the United States in such a negative way, I think more and more people will doubt, whether the U.S. is really in decline or not.
In terms of cross-Atlantic relationship, people have also been watching the reactions from European Union, from Western countries in general. How is this incident potentially going to impact cross-Atlantic relationship?
I definitely know how European countries would think about this, because right now, Ukraine is having a war with Russia, and European countries have kept on talking about sovereignty. And this definitely is a violation of sovereignty. So there's no way that the European countries, even Americans and NATO allies, can say, okay, we support you because you're the big brother and we're allies. No, they just can't say this. So the only thing they can do is to make some mild comments that would clearly reflect what they think, but it would not look so offensive to the big brother. So that is the only thing they can do, and they're doing exactly this kind of things now. But you see, this is an interesting question in that the European countries just want American help, in the war that is happening in the heartland of Europe. That is a war, between Russia and Ukraine. So sovereignty, is the biggest reason, why they just want this war to happen or to finish, in their own way. But to see United States violating, the sovereignty of another country. So when the United States presumably want the European country to express support to the United States this time, can European countries provide this kind of support? No, they just can't. So how would that affect America's support to European countries in the future? So that remains to be seen. So we don't know whether this would actually create, some more frictions between the United States and European countries. So that is something we have to watch out.
Definitely, it creates a big dilemma for these European countries who have been advocating for, international law and rule-based international order, or following the footsteps, the talking points of the United States on these matters. Nevertheless, going forward, this definitely has created a very bad precedent, Senior Colonel Zhou, in your words, in terms of how countries deal with relationships between each other. The United States seems not to be worried at all all, whether the unilateral action breaks any international law, international norm, so long as it can interpret it, it can round up its own logic domestically to its voters, it seems to be justified. But internationally, there's an outcry, especially on social media, as we can see. There's an outcry from a lot of countries, especially among the young people, against such an action. But what can countries do at this moment? Because in terms of military might, there's just not another country that can match that of the United States. So it seems like the US will get its way in the foreseeable future to come. What can countries and peoples around the world do to make America change course and not to go down this very dangerous path?
My answer to you is very direct. They can do nothing, but there is a cost for the United States. Yeah. So because apparently the United States is the strongest military power in the world, and when it decides to launch an attack on such a country, very few people or very few countries can actually do something that are very significant. But when I say there is a cost, this kind of cost may not be so direct, may not be so obvious, but actually the U.S. is paying a cost even before Donald Trump, because what is important for these countries, for the Western countries, is a so-called liberal democracy, which has been in steady decline from 2006. Just imagine, looking down the road, would this kind of democracy be strengthened? Of course not. Then what are the reasons behind? My answer is it has a lot to do with the declining strength of the United States, but also it has a lot of things to do with Americans' behaviors. Yeah. So this kind of attack is among the most serious damages to America's reputation and credibility.